Hi, I'm Alan Baker, your host, and you're at home. Hi, welcome to the show. Once again, you're at home with your host, Alan Baker. And today, we were talking about heating and air. And that's an important aspect with the cooler weather coming on. We're here with Michael Burton of CD Mechanical. Michael, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Now, at CD Mechanical, you guys are located over here in Demorest, Georgia.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your company. What do you guys specialize in?
Primarily specialized in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and plumbing for commercial and residential.
Mm-hmm. So you guys do residential as well. I know we're in the warehouse here. It looks a little commercial, but
right.
You guys specialize in residential. As a matter of fact, did some work for me recently, and I
Absolutely.
did a great job, so we appreciate that. You know, the cooler weather is coming on, Michael, and a lot of folks right now are kind of changing over from AC to heat, or you know, they've been kicking the heat on just a little bit more in the evenings as the cooler temperatures come. And a lot of times they come across some problems, especially if they haven't been maintaining their unit. Let's talk a little bit about maintaining the unit today. Why is that so important?
Well, for the life of the unit is the primary thing. You just don't want, you know, if you're going to spend out good money for that, the last thing you want to do is to have to continue to do that year after year after year.
Right.
And probably the best thing that you can possibly do is to change your filter regularly.
Okay.
I know people say that all the time, and they're like, change your filters, and you mean to, and you may even buy filters and set it down next to the unit, but to actually do it is the thing.
Tell me this, Michael. You know, regularly is sort of a general term here.
Right.
How often really should you change a filter?
Okay, and we've got some primary things here where, you know, this is what a lot of people use because it's probably the cheapest filter that you can get. This is basically a 30-day filter though.
Oh.
So if you have this, you need to change this out every month.
So changing it at the beginning of the season and letting it run just doesn't work?
Right, you're going to be completely clogged.
Yeah, show me one that you got.
Yeah, here's an example of ones that looks like it's kind of been a while. They're completely packed.
That's not supposed to be that fuzzy, folks.
Airflow is going to be reduced. You're also really going to kill the life of your unit. Your coils are going to get dirty. You're not going to have the same amount of airflow. You're not going to have the same amount of cooling, heating.
Well, and the dust is probably still trying to come through the unit, I'm sure, from the intakes. And if it can't be caught by this, it goes around. It probably recycles back into your house as well, right?
And if you have allergies and anything else, this is terrible for that.
Oh, yeah.
So the next step up from that after that is your pleated filter.
Okay.
This is basically what's considered a 3-month filter.
Oh.
You can look over, change it more often.
This is more my style.
Exactly. So these are what primarily a lot of people go with, and we recommend it. Kind of a 3-month filter. You can set it on your iPhone or your smartphone or whatever you need to, and just have an alarm and just go down there and change it regularly.
Right.
It will really improve the efficiency and every other part of your system.
Right.
You can also have installed. It's going to be a little bigger, but this is the kind of the air barrier.
Yeah, now that's pretty thick there.
That is basically most of them are between about 5 inches.
Okay. Now, would this be in residential application?
It would be, and actually this is what I have one of these in my house.
Okay.
So that's in there, and they work great. They call a 5 to 6 month filter. Depends on if you have pets or you have anything else. You probably still need to change it every 3 months.
Oh, okay.
But take a look at it, and you can tell the difference between when things start getting dirty and not, and just.
Now you got one other filter here. This is what they call a washable, I guess.
It is, and a lot of people put these, and you can get the smaller version as well. But over the return units, especially if you have a crawl space, to where your filter is going to be in, because you're not going to go down there every 3 months, even as well-meaning as you are to do that. You can put these in your returns on the upstairs part, lock those in, and then every 3 months or so, take them out, wash them, put them back down. You don't have to crawl beneath your house.
Well, that helps a lot. Not only filters, though. There's a lot of other things that the homeowner can do themselves that might help to increase the life or maintain the usability of the system. What else can they do?
A lot of things is just checking out your system, whether it's the disconnect on the side, if your wires start looking worn. It's just kind of like anything else in your house. As you look over it, things get better. You can wash the sides down with just a hose.
Right.
Just make sure the coils stay clean. If your air handling unit happens to be in the attic, make sure the refrigerant lines, the lines are running through that have the kind of the black insulation on it.
Right.
Make sure that insulation's on there real well, because that can really take a lot of the power out of your system.
Okay, so just these things do wear out.
Right.
Okay, and so a lot of folks don't realize that, I mean, if they've got a 20-year-old system in their house
right.
and it's still running, they're thinking, well, it's still running, so why not just leave it alone?
Well, and it depends upon, efficiency is probably your main thing and what your power bills are.
Right.
If you happen to be blessed with a 20-year-old unit that's still running great and your power bills are down low, and
right.
And that's great. A lot of people, though, that's going to start creeping up. Also, too, when you start looking into refrigeration Freon.
Right.
As it goes, they've done a switch over now.
Okay.
It's gone from R22, which is basically no new units will use the R22 Freon anymore. They're all 410A.
Okay.
So that's the two, and 410A is a mixture of Freons that's better for the environment, the ozone,
okay.
and all that.
Okay. But now but as far as replacing the Freon in there, you're really not going to be able to do that if you've got an.
It's going to get more and more expensive as it goes along, as supply drops down. Of course, supply and demand.
Sure.
So
sure.
You're going
now, what about some of your ducting throughout the house? Are there things that you can do there?
You can, and look through that, and primarily if you've got metal ducting that's been insulated, look through, make sure that insulation's still tight. Everything is, and it's primarily one of those things to where if you go to a particular grill or register and you're not feeling airflow. Mm-hmm. You can look through, there's probably a problem in there. It could have come off at the grill.
Uh-huh.
You could have and a lot of people, it's going to be flexed through
right, flex pipe.
Right. If you have tears in it, anything like that, of course. A lot of bends in the pipe, of course, those are going to be restrictions. If it's not hanging from the ceiling right.
Right.
Strapped in.
So if you do, honestly, if you see maybe one of the seals coming loose, you can buy that tape at the hardware store and kind of do that thing yourself.
Right. And it's a thing to where, a lot of that stuff can be done by the homeowner.
Right. But now there's some things that they probably need to call you guys in on. What would be some of those?
Some of those things to where, if your outside units or inside are not functioning anymore.
Yeah.
If your outside unit cuts off, before you do anything, even if you think you're a homeowner, there's 2 breakers to it. Please cut those off before you decide to do anything.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's a bad day. But and a lot of times too, to where if the units, if it's off, you've probably got, it could be a capacitor, which is very easy to fix.
Right.
Which will take us, no time to come in there. You've also got a fan motor that's in there that burns out.
Right.
A little more pricey.
Uh-huh.
You also have a compressor.
Right.
Compressor goes and it's pretty much done.
Okay. You're looking at a new unit, which is not what you want to hear, I know.
At all.
Yeah.
And so that's the primary things on that. You can also have, if you come out during the summer months especially, if your unit's froze up on the outside.
Right.
You're probably, you probably have dirty coils, or your Freon is probably out of the unit.
Okay.
A Freon leak can either be one of the cheaper things to happen to you, if it's a low amount of Freon that's leaked out and they can find the leak quickly and repair it. It's not that bad, or it can almost be one of the more expensive things that happen, depending upon the amount of Freon that has to be in and how long it takes to find the leak, because the leak could be all the way through the house.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, now, a lot of folks are turning the heat on right now with it getting cooler.
Right.
And a lot of time you get that kind of burnt smell, that burning smell that's going on in the house. What's happening there, and is that a concern?
No, perfectly normal if it's probably 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
When you first cut it off, because that's the dust that's on the heat strips. You're going to have dust, no matter how clean you are, that's going to...
it's going to settle over the year.
Right.
Sure.
So that's going to burn off. Now, if it goes past 2 to 3 minutes, you may want to shut that down and then call somebody.
Okay, because you could have a bad element or something to that.
Right, or if something is actually burning in there, that's probably
not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Great information, Michael. We appreciate it. I tell you what, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some technological advances in heating and air. Stay with us.
CD Mechanical is North Georgia's premier provider for your HVAC and plumbing needs. Whether it's design and build plans or service contracting, CD Mechanical provides unmatched expertise in both residential and commercial settings.
Hi, I'm Michael Burton with CD Mechanical. Please visit on the web at cdmechanical.com or contact us anytime at 706-778-9498.
Homestar Financial is North Georgia's premier mortgage provider and Georgia's #1 USDA lender. Homestar will guide you to which product will serve you best in your financial situation. Call one of the home team today: Rick Whiting, Molly Nicholson, Corey Cantrell, Clay Christie, Renee Hood, Joyce Simmons, and Mike Cash. Visit with Homestar today at their newest location in Washington Street in Clarksville or on the web at www.theeasiestwayhome.com. Homestar Financial is an equal housing lender.
Oh, promotions from North Georgia businesses over at DealArmstrong.com. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Just as the source of any great river is its headwaters, the source of a great experience in real estate begins with the right people, resources, and expertise. At Headwaters Realty, we offer exceptional service, extensive market knowledge, and leading technologies. Contact one of our team members today to help you through this rapidly changing marketplace. Whether buying or selling real estate, make Headwaters Realty your realtors of choice in Northeast Georgia.
Welcome back to the show. Once again, we're here with Michael Burton with CD Mechanical here in Demorest, Georgia. Been talking about heating and air a little bit today, and honestly, you lost me just a little bit, starting to use some of that shop talk with the Freons and the different numbers and types of things. But something else that really kind of loses the homeowner a lot of times is this talk about SEER, right, tonnage. You know, what are they talking about there, Michael? Help us out. You know, you hear 10 SEER, 12 SEER, 14, whatever. What are they talking about?
SEER was basically a ratio brought up by the Department of Energy. It stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio.
Okay.
And SEER is how efficient your unit is.
Okay.
So it should kind of give you a calculation on normal use within their parameters, on what your power bills, your expenditures, things like that could possibly be.
Okay, so if somebody's looking for a more efficient unit, then obviously they need to bump it up in SEER a little bit.
Correct.
But now, is there a cost to that?
There is, as anything else. So the higher the SEER rating, the more expensive it's going to be, but yet you should save more over the long term.
I got you.
So like, you know, which I think they're no longer around. A lot of it, if you look at it, like the 8 SEER models, which are no longer even around. The 10 SEER, which most people have now, are probably about 20% more efficient than the 8s.
Okay.
What everybody's being bumped to now, because now 10 SEERs are no longer sold, is a 13 SEER.
Okay.
So a bare minimum unit that you can get right now is a 13 SEER unit.
But that's a good thing. They're getting more efficient.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So which is better for everybody, and that's going to be about 38% more efficient than the 8, and you can go up to like a 20 SEER unit, which should be theoretically 60% more efficient.
Wow.
Than the 8, but there's kind of a cost.
And that really kind of gets in. I mean, that gets back to our earlier statement. We talk about somebody that might have a 15-year-old, 20-year-old unit, but it's an 8 SEER unit. They may not realize just exactly how much money they're spending on that unit.
Right, exactly. And you can look, if you jumped up to a 20 SEER unit, that your power bills are going to go down 60%.
Right.
It's quite a savings over time.
Right, and then you end up paying for the unit quicker than you thought.
Right, exactly.
Now another one is tonnage. People hear that. Most folks probably think that's how much the unit weighs. So kind of help us out with that. What is that?
Tonnage is basically a calculation that the manufacturers use on how much output and capacity a unit can withhold.
Okay.
Or can put out. So if they say that if you have a 2.5 ton unit, then that's the tonnage on that, and they believe that will handle the house. Now, what we recommend a lot of times is to bring a professional in that does a heat load calculation, because sometimes people just go by a rule of thumb and they'll say whether it's 500, 600 square feet per da-da-da. There's a lot of variations that go into that.
I guess layout would have a lot to do with
that.
The
layout's huge, and if you have cathedral ceilings, obviously that's going to use up more space. But also too, the newer things to where, if you're putting in insulation in the house, a higher R factor there, the double pane windows, better doors, the garage door, things like that are actually going to help that. And so where you may need a smaller unit than you would otherwise.
Okay. Now, a lot of folks are, right now, people are thinking about maybe remodeling a little bit with the way the housing market's been. They're not sure they want to sell right now, but they just want to finish out the basement and increase some. How do they know if their unit is going to be able to handle it? Because a lot of folks probably don't address that. How can they overcome this new refurbishing of their house and still have the same comfort of the heat and air?
And another great way for a heat load calculation too, where go through and see, hey, will the tonnage that I have of this unit, is it going to satisfy finishing out my basement?
Okay.
Do I need to put or even if it can, maybe I put a zone system in. To where that in a zone system, then it's going to have a separate thermostat and almost going to act like a entirely new level, but it's going to go off the same unit.
Now, see, that's one thing when I think about zoning, I've always thought about that as, well, that's one unit for this one and one unit for that.
Right.
But it can actually run off the same unit.
Go off the same unit. You can have two separate zones or whatever coming off that same unit.
Okay.
And whenever it's calling for it, it'll direct it to that particular thing. It works in a damper system.
Okay, good. And so, but getting back to, so they finish out the basement, okay? They're going to need a load calculation to kind of find out where they're at there. And is there any way around putting in a new unit, or can you get a second unit for those type situations?
You can, and a lot of things too, to where you can have, maybe you finished out a sunroom.
Okay.
Maybe you've done the bonus room that you turned into an office upstairs.
Over the garage.
Over the garage,
okay.
Exactly. And there's a mini split system.
Okay.
Which is going to be a unit that's probably 2.5, 3 feet long. It'll go, and that'll be the inside unit. It'll connect to an outside unit that goes around the side of your house.
Okay.
You're probably looking at half to 3/4 of the price of adding a new unit.
Oh.
And it's also ductless.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about, rerouting new duct, putting in grills, things like that. So if you're looking for kind of an economical way to put that in, it's a great alternative.
But do take that into consideration if you're remodeling a room or a basement or a sunroom or whatever. Be sure you take in the consideration of the air conditioning that's going on, whether it's heating or cooling. You're going to definitely need to take that into consideration. I know technology has come a long way, as it has with every other industry, and I'm sure that's affected your industry as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the new things that are coming down the pipe for you guys.
It has, and a lot of the systems now are going to like a totally network system, to where you can almost control your entire house security system, everything else, through your HVAC system into their especially keypad. So if you happen to be gone for the weekend, you can handle everything from your phone. If you happen to be gone, people have it set up to even to where there's key fobs that you can wear around, and as you walk through room to room, whether the lights change, whether the temperature goes up and down the room, whatever your particular likes are, can change as well. So you can really, depending upon how much you want to spend, you can really go all out.
Yeah.
A lot of great conveniences as well, though, to where if you're like, oh, I left, you get the TV on, the lamps, anything else. You can turn those on and off pretty much through their entire system.
Or if you don't want your system running heat or air at its maximum rate, you could always change that out with your smartphone while you're on the road.
Right, and a lot of those things too are tied back into a programmable thermostat.
Oh, okay. I see you got one of those here.
Yeah, and these are all touchscreen.
Right.
So they're pretty state of the art, and you can pretty much program any hour of the day, 7 days a week. Anything that's going on, to whether as soon as you leave the house and there's nobody going to be there, if you want to bump it off a little bit to you can really save a lot of money by being able to program your lifestyle into this.
So it's not just the single set. I mean, most folks have you bump it up to 70, 69, 70, whatever you're going to leave it at, and it stays there all the time. So this would kind of give you some programmable flexibility.
You can there's a ton of flexibility to where literally like hour by hour, day by day, you can really if you go through and you can break off it if you're going to be gone for a week, and hey, let's get put the house up to 75 or whatever. Program that right in, and you're done.
Oh, excellent. Now, is there any problem with putting these in with older systems? Are they still communicating okay there?
They'll still do fine.
Oh, really? Yeah. So really, the brains are inside this, and not so much in your unit.
Right.
Okay, great. Now, I know we talked a little bit about filters before, but this is another way to filter the air with something that I know is a huge concern for a lot of homeowners right now, and it's a real buzzword out there, and that's mold.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about this unit, and why would this be so important?
Okay, and this is what's considered UV filtration. These are ultraviolet bulbs. This is actually one for commercial use. So the duct would be a lot bigger that this would be in, but it kind of gives a good showing of what these are, and these can go in either the supply or the return side. As the mold particles go through here, this will kill those.
Okay.
So you're not breathing in.
Looks like a big bug zapper.
It kind of is in a way, and that's kind of, I think, the technology it was probably built off of. But it does a great job of, and is proven to pretty much kill mold.
So they're small. I mean, obviously, with folks beginning to understand a lot about allergies and things like that, then something like this could really bring on a new level of comfort for the homeowner.
Right.
And of course, there's smaller units, I'm sure, for the residential side, but definitely something to take into consideration when you're looking at. Will this also help with pets and things like that? And I mean, as far as a lot of folks have a lot of pets indoors. Is that getting back to our filter system?
That's going to be more of the filter side on the on the individual pores and things like that, and the dander and that sort of getting held up there. This is more primarily if you have a mold issue.
Right.
That is something that you really want to avoid. that's pretty much a good cost savings.
Right. Great stuff. And I tell you what, learning an awful lot today about heating and air and about these units with Michael Burton with CD Mechanical. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll find out how you can reach Michael and his company, CD Mechanical.
CD Mechanical is North Georgia's premier provider for your HVAC and plumbing needs. Whether it's design and build plans or service contracting, CD Mechanical provides unmatched expertise in both residential and commercial settings.
Hi, I'm Michael Burton with CD Mechanical. Please visit on the web at cdmechanical.com or contact us anytime at 706-778-9498.
Homestar Financial is North Georgia's premier mortgage provider and Georgia's #1 USDA lender. Homestar will guide you to which product will serve you best in your financial situation. Call one of the home team today: Rick Whiting, Molly Nicholson, Corey Cantrell, Clay Christie, Renee Hood, Joyce Simmons, and Mike Cash. Visit with Homestar today at their newest location in Washington Street in Clarksville or on the web at www.theeasiestwayhome.com. Homestar Financial is an equal housing lender.
Discounts and promotions from North Georgia businesses over at DealArmstrong.com. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Just as the source of any great river is its headwaters, the source of a great experience in real estate begins with the right people, resources, and expertise. At Headwaters Realty, we offer exceptional service, extensive market knowledge, and leading technologies. Contact one of our team members today to help you through this rapidly changing marketplace. Whether buying or selling real estate, make Headwaters Realty your realtors of choice in Northeast Georgia.
Welcome back to the show. Once again, we're with Michael Burton and CD Mechanical. Been some great information today. And, again, getting into the colder part of the year. And so, a lot of folks are turning up the heat. Maybe some folks need to be putting in new units. Maybe they've got a busted unit, or they're looking at a redesign. They've got an older unit there they need to replace. Heat can be handled a couple different ways. We know that we've got total electric heating units, and then you've got the gas also. Whether I guess with the natural gas, or even can it run on an LP situation as well? Mm-hmm. So, what's the difference between those two? How would a homeowner decide which supplier or which energy source they'd want to go with?
Depends on really what your needs and kind of upfront cost expense.
Okay.
How you want to balance that out. Gas units are going to be more expensive off the get-go. There should be cost savings over time on using that to make up for that.
Right.
That side during winter. You're also looking though at, so on the electric side you're going to be cheaper. Some people are a little scared of gas as well.
Right.
They don't really want that. So, it's just kind of what your basis is.
Well, let me ask you this though, Mike. Is there any difference in the conditioning of the air inside?
You're going to have immediate heat with the gas unit.
Okay.
And it's going to come out pretty much at the registers when we go and check those. About 120 degrees coming out at the thing. So it's really, you're going to have immediate heat.
Okay.
Electric is going to take a little while to start up. You're going to have a couple of minutes, and then then your heat really starts kicking in, and it's going to come out generally between 100 to 105 degrees.
Okay.
So it just takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
To get going.
Now, is there any, with the humidity, is there any difference between those two fuel sources, or?
Not really. I mean, you're going to have, there's people on both sides of the issue that are in love with both, and they have their diehard pros and their diehard cons.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of it has to do with primary expense and how quick. If you want heat the minute you walk in the door and have that going, you're going to have.
You're going to need to go with gas.
Yes,
okay,
right.
Good stuff. I tell you, great information, Michael. You guys have been in this business a while, and I know you've covered this area. You've done some great work. I can recommend them. I'm one of these guys that I need somebody really watching out for me here, and I know you guys have a product that will do that for us in the maintenance agreement. Tell us a little bit about how you guys operate that.
Maintenance agreement Pretty easy thing.
Yeah.
Give us a call. We'll set it up for, we recommend at least twice a year.
Right.
4 times a year we'll get your filter changed, but it'll change your filters. And primarily what it is to where it's going to extend the life of your unit.
Right.
The parts that move, those will get lubricated. Let's see, drain lines get cleaned out.
Yeah.
Coils get, cleaned,
Stuff most homeowners are not
you're just
going
not
to take the time.
You're just not going to do, or not, going to remember to do.
Right. Right.
So pretty much easy. We'll set you up in a calendar. Come out there and take care of all your needs.
And I guess if something is going wrong, you guys have the expertise to kind of catch it beforehand and hopefully save some folks some money.
And the big part of it too is to where you're going to get a diagnostic report with, hey, this is starting to fail on your unit.
Right.
And that way, and say, I can't give you an exact, it's going to fail November the 10th.
Right.
But, we can start planning for, hey, you may want to start putting a little bit away, or we can fix that now for you, or, this is coming up, and if there's enough things going wrong, maybe we're looking at a new unit, but kind of give you the decision.
Well, it gives you opportunity to plan on it.
Exactly.
So, great. Tell us how we can get in touch with you. I know you guys are out there on the web and Facebook and whatnot,
Right.
so let us know how they can get in touch with you.
Give us a call anytime, 706-778-9498. You can also go through our website at www.cdmechanical.com. Also like us on Facebook.
Right, and they'll keep you informed. Been a great show.
Hey,
Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate that. And that's about all the time we've got today, but we'll see you next time at home.
It's Neil Armstrong, you better wake up, freak out! Oh, yes! Oh, I'm saving so much money, I can't believe it! Shopping, restaurant services, oh my!
You're gonna freak out with all the deals, discounts, and promotions from North Georgia businesses over at DealArmstrong.com. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Just as the source of any great river is its headwaters, the source of a great experience in real estate begins with the right people, resources, and expertise. At Headwaters Realty, we offer exceptional service, extensive market knowledge, and leading technologies. Contact one of our team members today to help you through this rapidly changing marketplace. Whether buying or selling real estate, make Headwaters Realty your realtors of choice in Northeast Georgia.